Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Do you believe it? We're already halfway through the week, and that's amazing. I hope you're doing fabulous today and you're doing all the things you need to do to keep everything under control and keep all your goals within reach. Today, I'm going to be talking a little bit about bergamot essential oil. And it's really, really one of my favorite oils ever of all time. Good morning, Michelle. Thanks for checking in with us today. Bergamot is a citrus oil. And as I mentioned before, citrus oils do react with sunlight and can cause sunburn. There is bergamot that has the photosensitizing chemicals removed that you can find, but by and large, just kind of assume, if you haven't heard that it doesn't have it, that it is going to be reacting with the sun. So please be careful if you're going to be using this topically. So bergamot originated in Asia, and it is genetically a cross between the bitter orange and the sweet lime. And so I really think that it's this kind of combination of the bitter and the sweet together that really is the secret to bergamot's function. It's really all about harmonizing and balancing, kind of the sweet making the bitter a little bit easier to take, and the bitter making the sweet a little bit less kind of cloying. Originally, bergamot began in Italy and the Ivory Coast and Sicily after it kind of came over from Asia. Weird fact, Christopher Columbus might have brought bergamot from the Canary Islands to Italy. So Christopher Columbus may have had a role in, spreading the word about bergamot, which is kind of interesting and weird. You don't usually hear about Christopher Columbus, aside from like discovering the Americas and stuff. So what do you know? The more you learn, right? It's, again, cold pressed from the rinds. In the 1500s, it was really popular for perfuming and colognes. And they also used it a lot for skincare. I wouldn't recommend that just because of the risk of photosensitivity. So, definitely keep yourself safe first and foremost. One of my favorite things about bergamot is really how it benefits mental health. It really kind of creates this sweet spot where it kind of opens things up and kind of gets things moving and grooving again. And so this is really, really important for mental health in regards to stabilizing the mood. So kind of the pendulum of irritability and frustration and pessimism towards like anxiety on the other side, and things kind of going back and forth in that way. Bergamot really is effective for helping to kind of balance that out. It's really helpful for a pessimistic outlook. Again, bergamot is a citrus. Citrus is all about kind of lifting and raising. It's a little bit of happiness there. And it also helps unwire unconscious patterns in the brain. And we talked about this last week with stress eating and how the monkey mind kind of goes into this pre-wired trigger that is below your level of consciousness. Bergamot really helps to kind of get in there. It helps to get into the things that are hidden and kind of expose and open them for healing. And so that's really helpful for people going through addictions. That's helpful for those of us trying to work on our stress eating. All these kind of unconscious things that we're doing, things that are triggering us to do these, behaviors that aren't necessarily super helpful. It also helps when there's a disconnect between the mind and the heart and with thinking and feeling. So, you know that you're supposed to be doing one thing, but you just can't get your shit together to get it done. You know that you're supposed to be kind of taking better care of yourself, but you're just not able to kind of get through the hurdles that are blocking you from doing that. Bergamot could be really helpful. It also is really good for when you're like distracted and overstimulated, just kind of all over the place. Bergamot kind of brings things back together, kind of in the soft, cushy sort of way instead of all scattered all over the place. Because bergamot is benefiting the mood, it also benefits the things that go along with our mood. So that, especially things that are related to stress, like the stress tummy, that nausea, indigestion, gas and bloating, heartburn, sort of feeling that we get when we're really anxious or really stressed out. Bergamot's definitely going to benefit that because it's benefiting the mind, which is kind of the root of the digestive disturbance there. It's also helpful for insomnia, especially related to overthinking and the monkey mind where you can't kind of put things to rest. It also helps with mental digestion. So the gut and the mind are all kind of using the same energy from the Chinese medicine perspective to deal with everything. So if you're over consuming things in the mind, you're overthinking and over worrying, you are depleting your energy to digest food. And when that's happening, then you're having these digestive symptoms of the nausea, the indigestion, the things just not moving well in the gut because your brain isn't moving well. You're on that broken record of the 5 things that you're worried about over and over and over, and it's actually consuming your ability to digest food. So that's kind of a little bit of an understanding of it from Chinese medicine. We really can't separate the mind, the body, and the spirit. It's all happening at the same time. So we can't pretend like the way you feel doesn't impact how your body's functioning. Because frankly, it's like if you're living in a body, you understand that that is just the way it is. Okay. Also, unexpressed anger could be really helpful. Bergamot can be really helpful for that. And when you can't see the big picture, you're kind of, missing the forest and stuck in the trees and not kind of getting the bigger understanding of why you're kind of going through stuff. It's also helpful for when you're kind of hiding behind a fake smile, when you're not really able to fully engage in your life, you're not really able to kind of get in there, hook in there. Bergamot can be really helpful for kind of opening that stuff up. It's also going to be helpful for releasing stuffed emotions, helping you heal from the things that you've kind of put away and not dealt with, and letting them come to the surface in a way that's a little bit more comfortable, that you can kind of really work through things that you might have had roadblocks with before. And it also helps to connect you to your inner self in that way. If you're connecting to the deep ways that you really feel, you're connecting to who you are as a person, that really can help promote self-love, which is kind of indispensable. So how do you use bergamot then? Do you have any ideas? Well, diffusion, of course. Everybody loves their little oil diffuser. You can combine it with a lot of different things as well, depending on what exactly you're trying to address. So because bergamot is so good with anger and irritability, it pairs really well with lavender, which is another one of our oils for stress. A lot of practitioners actually combine lavender and bergamot in their diffusers in the office just to kind of keep everyone chilled out from the moment you walk in the door. You can combine it with black spruce. Black spruce, again, we've talked about it a little bit before with the stress essential oils as well. It really helps to provide you like with a sense of strength, something that you can kind of lean back on, fortifying your spine, kind of keeping you in the game. It really also helps with feeling mentally scattered. So if you're kind of super scattery, you could do bergamot and black spruce together in your diffuser. You could combine it with something in the mint family, like peppermint or spearmint, to really kind of open the mind. Mint can really kind of just open the head and get things circulating and moving. In my kind of understanding, peppermint's a little bit more of like chopping its way in and breaking everything down and opening it up. Spearmint also is helpful. Spearmint's a little bit sweeter, kind of opens things a little bit more gently, a little bit more easily. So if you're, dealing with a lot of stress, headaches, or you're trying to really work through a problem and you're just kind of spinning your wheels, or you're needing to just kind of refresh and renew, that could be a really helpful combination. And then you could also combine it with florals, because our floral, sweet smelling oils are really helpful for making us feel nourished. So it can kind of help support you through the stress kind of in a couple of different ways at the same time. So we have some oils that are euphorics, like ylang ylang, jasmine, that are really going to support your mood in that way. Geranium can help you geranium's kind of a mom sort of vibe where everything's going to be okay. Like when you'd want to turn to mom for a hug, you could turn to geranium if mom's not there and kind of get yourself through. And really, that helps to support a sensation of safety as well, which, when we're going through a lot of different stuff and you have pent up emotions and things that you're stuffing down, you're stuffing that down for a reason, and not feeling safe to express it could be part of that picture. So by adding geranium to the bergamot, that can really kind of enhance your ability to work through things in that way. You can also use bergamot with inhalation. So again, that's the putting a drop of it on your palm, rubbing your hands together, and getting a big inhale. And I recommend really kind of doing 7-second inhales and 7-second exhales, really kind of consciously breathing it in and consciously exhaling. When you're doing the inhalation therapy, you really do feel it kind of going right into your brain and softening and relaxing things. You can also use it topically. So that means you can put it directly from the bottle onto your skin. again, careful with the UV light piece. You could put it on your neck potentially to really help stimulate things going on in the brain. You could combine it with rosemary to really perk up the brain too. You could put it on the belly with some fennel or ginger to help with the digestive piece related to stress and overthinking. You could put it on your feet. You could also combine it with geranium on the feet to benefit in a bunch of different ways. I use it on acupuncture points all the time. There's some points on the ears that are incredibly helpful for mind reset. And if you have any questions, comments about that, PM me and I can tell you a little bit more. You could also combine bergamot with marjoram. Marjoram is really nice for softening and opening, and so it can just be kind of like a double dose of if you need it there. So whenever you're using essential oils, just as a safety note, always start slow. Don't put like 12 drops of oil on yourself. That's a little bit much for first time around. You know, start with a little bit diluted and just work your way in. You can always add more, but you can't kind of undo what you've done. And there's no reason to kind of give yourself some kind of a, you know, detox reaction or something when you're just playing around. So please be safe. Go easy, slow, and steady. And when you're talking about topical, there's also the possibility of, you know, combining a couple of these oils together, mixing them in a roller with some carrier oil, maybe some coconut oil or jojoba, whatever your favorite might be, and, you know, carrying it around in your purse and putting it on your wrists, putting it on your neck, you know, as you're going through the day, as you're feeling stressed out. Put it over your heart if you're dealing with people that are kind of getting in at you, especially those kind of people that tend to dump all their negativity on you, and when you're done talking to them, you feel really kind of pissed off and irritated, agitated. Right? No, none of us know anyone like that, right? We throw some bergamot on them. The power of bergamot compels you. Stop being a bitch. Anyways, I hope that you guys found that helpful. If you are interested, on the left side of my Facebook page where it says like about and all that, in the middle there is a newsletter sign up button. If you go ahead and click that, you can sign up for the newsletter that I put out every week, which will give you kind of the highlight videos and kind of keep you all up to date, so that if you are on vacation or your internet's being funny or whatever the case may be, you can always check back in and make sure that you're not missing anything that might be helpful for you. Definitely also tag and share if you think that something that we're talking about could benefit or help someone else. There's no need to struggle when the answers are all at our fingertips, right? So have a fabulous day. Take care. I'll be back again tomorrow talking about more things health and wellness. 10 a.m. Tea with Natalie every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Take care. Have an awesome day.